IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Yes. Oh, was I caught off guard for a second? I was watching a fly that was walking by because right now, I think we're going to this patch where there was a small bit of rain and thunder and all yesterday. So it's turned everything around. The insects are back. I'm not against insects because I'm not one of those people who's selective about animals and all. I'm saying, let them also have a life. As long as they don't destroy anything, I'm okay with it. So I don't have a fascist attitude towards insects. But before I bring on a very important person, there's something I must say. And that is to my sister, who actually listens to the podcast but lives far away in Pittsburgh. It's a city in a place called the United States of America. You probably would have heard of it. Ranked 4th best city in that country. And she watches the podcast and she suddenly said, how come there's a gap in my tooth? That's this side or that side. I don't know, you know me and mirror reflections. So I just have to tell you, Giselle, if you're watching or listening, this has been there for 4 years, since 2017. This is how well you know your younger brother. And this is why I let you go to America. Because you never showed any sensitivity towards me and my broken tooth. It's been 4 years, over 4 years, and now you notice it. Horrible thought. But she's a lovely lady. Hi, and have a good time if you do watch this show. America, by the way, is a rising country, not as powerful as India, but they're doing their bit. And one day they will be on par with us.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.
Now let's meet our guest on Cyrus Says and let's welcome him. And I've got a lot of relevant questions to ask him immediately, which, Faraz Arif Ansari, film director, made some well-reviewed short films, very important, integral member of the LGBTQ sort of movement, pushes that agenda a lot, for which he's going to tell us. He identifies himself as non-binary. Faraz, first and foremost, has cleared this up. I don't want to sound patronizing, and I don't want to sound insensitive. So I'm caught in a hole here. And, I'm one of those guys, Faraz, who, I don't remember names. So I'm always using these odd things. And I know it's like disrespectful. I'm just not good with remembering names, especially common names, Raju, Rajesh, right. That type, So I always say chief, boss, tiger. So where do I stand? When your club, so to speak, wants to be, called them, these, they. I'm Roger completely because I'm like, how do I bring in tiger now? So can you please help?
You can actually, you can definitely. I think that I personally think like tiger is a cool animal to relate with. Yeah, why not? Tiger, dragon, whatever whatever floats your boat, Cyrus.
Can you tell the other dilemma we have, because I've discussed this with a few comedian fellows in the business who actually couldn't give me a proper answer. For us males, when we talk to males and we forget the name, we can get away with boss, tiger, Mr. Ariyar, anything. We can actually get away with most things. But what do you say to a woman without offending her if you don't know her? Because you can't say like Missy, you can't, a ma'am is just too aging them, then they take offense to that as well. Then you can't be too formal. Hey, babes, you can't, come on. So we tried and we couldn't find a word. We couldn't find a word.
Love? Hey, love?
No, love. Love is if you're in North England, it sounds normal there. Hey, love, cup of tea. But here, if I say love, they'll think I'm a boy from Gurgaon with a hammer in my hand or something. Yeah. So, this nomenclature. Let's talk about it for a second before we get into your career. So, look, we're making light of it, and you seem to be a really easygoing guy. But I do know that this is important, especially for those who are trying to rubbish you, or push down, or belittle. I think that's the right word.
That's the word. Yeah.
Explain to us non-binary, and please explain to us what is the right term where you will not take offense.
So I think Cyrus, I really got tired of being put inside a box, of being a man or not being a man. It's really tiresome. Most of your energy goes into trying to prove people that, hey, can I just be myself? And I think that's really important. I think in all our journeys, we all want to be ourselves. And I think the term that apparently is to be used as non-binary, where you don't fit into any binary. That's about it, really. There's no math to it. It's not rocket science. It's just that I don't fit into a box, and that's about it. And anyone can be, non-binary. You don't have to be a part of the queer community or the LGBTQI community to be non-binary. You can be straight and you can be non-binary. So it's pretty cool.
India's greatest journalist, Arnab Goswami, talks about himself. I don't know why you're laughing. Talks about himself in the third person. What is that binary in any kind? When he says Arnab will make sure that the world is a better place, he does that. I think Caesar used to do that also. There are a couple of examples through history. What about that? Is that allowed?
That's a trajectory.
See, look at our hypocrisy. We're trying to make sure that people are not insensitive to a community which is just finding its voice, and yet we're making fun of another.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Just horrible.
Really, yeah, we're just as bad as the trolls at the end of the day. Listen, I want to talk. We talked offline about this. I want to really get into that in a big way. But let's quickly get into the projects first. First and foremost, Faraz, how did you become? How did you land up in this? I read a little bit about. I think Karan Johar was it first, where you were assistant, etc. So just give us a little bit about the journey.
Yeah, sure. Cyrus, I wanted to make film since I was 4 years old, and it sounds pretty stupid, like for a 4-year-old child. Like, I mean, what were you thinking, right? But I had a lot of Barbie dolls, and I had a lot of He-Mans growing up as a child. I mean, most of us do. And I come from a multi-cultural family. My dad's a Parsi, my mom's a Muslim, and
what are you
my
saying?
aunt's a Sindhi. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I said
mixed
two.
breed.
I have to say they again.
Breed.
Mixed
breed.
No,
two
like
is
me,
perfect. Two is great. Yeah. I'm a mongrel.
So you do realize, right, that the populations get enhanced finally by the mixing of the population.
It's always the Bhelpuri.
The Bhelpuri, which brings the next, the progressive move. So you are the future.
I'm the future.
There you go.
So I think the Bhelpuri happened. That was not my.
So Faraz is very much a Parsi name as well. Yeah, fair enough. Now I get it. All right. Yeah. Very much. Yeah.
A lot of berry pulao. But no, jokes apart, I think I wanted to always. I always wanted to tell stories, so I think that is something that has not really changed. I just had to find the right medium, to be able to. And I love the arts. I love visual medium. So it was an eventual journey that happened over time. Of course, the family was totally against it. They said, have you lost the plot? You can't go into films just like that. But I think I stood my ground. I made my way to America. I paid for my own university by working at McDonald's and Walmart and all of that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I did everything. And I used to, on the side, direct musicals for schools and make my, pay for my tuition fees. So it was interesting. And I think once I got back to India, it was like...
That's quite a learning curve, huh? So you were, just to put bread on the table and pay through your college tuition and all that, you were doing what was basically professional musicals?
Yeah. So with schools...
People would pay money to come?
Yeah, people would actually pay money to come and watch it. But they used to be with schools and they used to be with...
But that's the
with
test,
children,
isn't it?
right?
Whether you're on West End or Broadway or West End doesn't really matter. The moment someone puts $1 down, that means you're worth something.
Hard work is hard work, yeah. And if someone's paying for it, someone's buying, right? So I think that's important. And that happened when I was 15. That's when I left from India, because I was just like done with it. And I was like, I want to get out and I want to explore and, see what's there in store, because nothing was happening back home in, early 2000s. Everything was
Nothing's happening now either.
And everyone was like arts, commerce, science, science,
yeah, God.
And so...
Really? Yeah, that changed a bit, but yeah. But just one interruption there. What kind of musical? Any musical that we'd be familiar with? Any of the famous ones, the West Side Stories, or any of the Andrew Lloyd Webbers?
Smike. I did Smike. I did Oliver's Twist. I did Lion King. I did Annie. I did.
I've seen 3 of them.
Yeah, I did Wicked. We did Phantom of the Opera as well. With obviously not with the school, but with
Phantom of the Opera. Very good, very good. I failed your audition.
I can't sing to save my life, which is an embarrassment. So when I used to direct musicals, it used to be...
I've done a couple of musicals in Bombay, and I must say this is the toughest form of entertainment for the performer as well as the director, because you've got to... It's like basically you have to have 3 strings to your bow minimum. I mean, you're dancing, you're singing. There's a little acting as well, whether you like it or not. And I think it's, from terms of hard work, it's the worst. So I can imagine for the director, which will be the worst.
It is tiresome also. Yeah. No, but it's fun. Yeah. It's heaps of fun. I think we don't really acknowledge, I mean, we make musical films back home, but we don't really understand the concept of watching a musical, you know. I mean, when you go to Broadway and you sit down there and you're like, wow, aisa bhi hota hai, you know, and then your world is changed for like those 3 hours or whatever. But I think it's a
I
culture.
always get, Faraz, I always get one guy, and you pay such top dollar in England and America when you go to these things, and I always get a guy singing along next to me badly. You know, I mean, I'm like, he's got this tenor in La Miserable, you know, going off, you know, with a fabulous voice, hitting some big notes, and this, you know, Mr. Smith on my right singing along with terrible, sounding like the belly of a pig, you know, digesting food. And I'm like, you know, he was huge, and I didn't have the guts to tell him, you know, you're in another country and all that, so you don't push it too much. Well, like, you pay like £100 to watch this guy, not this guy. This guy should pay me £100 to sit through the whole thing. Sorry, I digress for no reason. So you had that, you got that confidence, I guess. You're working with all kinds of people in a, you know, I mean, we are westernized, I'm sure, but alien culture in a sense. Then what happened after that? You came back to India?
I came back to India because, you know, everything, my graduation ended. By the way, I worked with MTV New York for a year. I was directing a
Right
show
over
for
Times
them.
Square.
Yeah,
That glass cubicle, yeah. I
that's
used to, I
it,
used to
yeah.
go and look at it. I had no idea I'd land up working with them. Huh, then?
My office was in the center of Times Square, so it was really cool. So I worked with them for a year, and then of course
How was
I went
that?
back home.
How was MTV? I bet they were on time, unlike here.
Always.
I mean, that's just the most beautiful thing, you know. You're working with the Westerners. The most beautiful thing is they give you a call sheet. 9 is 9. Everybody's there well under 9. You know, there's no waiting. Where is he? We're stuck in traffic. We always have one guy stuck in traffic when no one else is. You know, it's
9 is
amazing.
8:45. You have to be there like
Yeah,
9
9
on.
you're rolling. 9 you're rolling. What I mean is, yeah, you're in well before. So, did you get to direct or produce shows? What is the right word in TV?
I was directing a chat show, a live chat show. So it was just
Wow.
basically cam 1, cam 2, cam 3 sort of thing. But we had like really cool, you know, guests like Madonna and Avril Lavigne and like
Wow.
Shakira and all these people. So I kind of met them. I mean, obviously, you know, through the camera.
So, do you tell them what to do and all that when you have like
not really. You're just like sitting behind.
Avril is known to have quite the attitude. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly wasn't. I remember I went to get a cup of coffee in the morning after, you know, between the breaks, and there was this young little thing standing right in front of me in the queue, and she was taking a lot of time. So I said, "Hey, can you hurry up? I need to go back." And she turned around, and it was Hilary Duff. So I froze. I had a fan moment, like a big ass fan moment.
But nobody was standing around her. Like we would have no hanger on.
It's all chill, yeah, Cyrus. It's all chill there. Like nobody gives a rat's ass,
really.
yeah. People.
I saw Denzel Washington walking on the road. He was just walking on the road in New York. You know, he just crossed. Then I did the Desi thing, and I went in front of him to look at his face. But I never guts to break his stride. You know, just to confirm it was him. What a life! You're one of the best actors in the world. You're just walking on the streets of New York with a cup of coffee in your hand, like any regular person.
Love that about America. Everyone's chill. Most.
Oh, New York. I don't know what the rest is like. Yeah.
LA is, I think, way more chiller than compared to the East Coast. So,
but there's also the Midwest and places where Donald Trump won a lot of votes where you may not have that kind of, who knows what happens.
We don't know
there.
about the Midwest. We don't talk about the Midwest.
We don't even know Desi is going to study there. Yeah, that's true. All our people are in the West Coast or East Coast. They're clearly in the 4 or 5 cities.
We're like coastal people, Cyrus.
Why is it because the same universities have a lower over us? Well, there are 8 Ivy Leagues you try to get into. There were 5, 6 other colleges that people push your envelope for. I had one friend who went to Appleton, far away. Really cheese country of sorts, and also he was amongst the only brown-colored people for miles. But he had a good time. So come on, tell us. You came back to India then?
I came back to India, and I don't come from a film family, so you know I had to make my way through. So I ended up joining one of these colleges in Bandra, which said that we have Anurag Kashyap on our panel, so you can come to MET Bandra.
Oh, panel. This is like mutual funds are subject to market risk. Like it's written in fine print, and come on.
That's
for
it.
us.
So that
was the West. Think about the West is what they say is what they do. With all the other problems with foreign policy, what they say is what they do. You come to India, and what they say is, bro, after that chill, we'll see what happens. Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. So, I mean, that was my only, I had like 30 seconds of window to impress like one of these people so that they hire me immediately. Of course, I never met Anurag when I went to college. He never showed up for the panel. But it ended up being Amol Gupte, and he was making his film Taare Zameen Par at that point. So I went to Amol, and I used to be dyslexic in school. So I had made a film on dyslexia back in university, and I had no idea Amol's film is on dyslexia. So I gave him my show reel, and I said, "This is what I've made," and he said, "Yo, are you kidding me? Like that's my film." And I said, "Wow, that's
But he
like."
had already written. He had already written. The script was written.
Yeah. But his
It's not
was,
one of
of
those.
course, a
He
feature
flicked your
film.
script.
No. His was, of course, a feature film. Mine was a short film, I mean, made in America on my journey. But then we ended up working together, and I think that really started my day. So I got hired on the first day of my college. I paid
It's a bit
for the
lucky.
18 months of course, and I never attended college. But
What college is this?
MET Bandra, it's like right opposite Leelavati. It looks like an aquarium, like a massive SeaWorld aquarium from outside, but it's actually, it's
So you've gone to study in a place which looks like an aquarium opposite a hospital. Yeah, that's good enough.
after going to an Ivy League and coming
After going
back
to
and
Ivy League. Wow.
India में they say ये degree का कुछ
कुछ फायदा नहीं है.
फर्क नहीं, कुछ फायदा नहीं.
They've never
Take
heard of
the-
Ivy League. Yeah.
When I told them Penn State, they asked me in an interview, they said, "What university?" I said, "Penn State." And they looked at me, they said, "Kahan par hai ye?"
Are you
And there was
serious?
like silence. I swear to you. There was silence. They thought it's Penn in Maharashtra or some shit.
But you must be amongst the only graduates from one of these UPenn or whatever who actually have to downgrade. I mean, you go to some place where you're clearly
Don't rub it
intellectually
in, Cyrus.
fast. No, I'm just thinking. Sometimes you must be wondering, no? Because I think generally you take a bank job or whatever, all the generic stuff that's out there,
Yeah.
and they all the CV becomes really important and all that, and they sort of salam you and all that if they welcome you. And I'm thinking that you come to a place like that, the guy doesn't know what he's never heard of UPenn or what. I mean, how can you relate after a point? What are you going to talk about? Beja masala. There must be some point.
It was interesting the questions that I even get asked now. They were like, "America क्यों गए पढ़ाई करने के लिए? यहाँ पे set पे काम करना चाहिए था." I was like, "Yeah, you're right about it. Maybe I should."
This is actual sledging. This is like being mean. 15 crores.
Gaslighting.
Yeah. 5 to 10 crores ka kharch, you're suddenly questioning yourself, and then you become successful overnight in this field. You're wondering, what the hell did I do in those 5 years? Experience is everything. Experience. I was trying to tell my son who's feeling homesick in Canada. Okay, so then you did Taare Zameen Par. You had a great time.
Yes. It was.
Was there any controversy in the film you'd like to discuss? This time not involving you?
I wish I could, but I don't think I'm allowed to. I've signed many papers and many documents to keep my mouth shut. But no,
are they cordial now? Are they cordial? Do they are they friends now? Or is it water under the bridge? Or?
So I don't think there's going to be any water under any bridge, and there's no bridge also, I believe. So it's pretty.
I don't know why people take all these things so personally for so long. When suddenly you're dying and you're wondering, really, is it worth it? I mean, who are we to say anything? We're not them. And you are not allowed to speak by law. What a country we've come to.
By law.
You're not allowed to speak by law about this, but you want to vent about communities and abuse women and, people of different genders or alternative genders. You can do what you want. That's fine, right?
Kill the minorities.
Yeah, but you can't talk about celebrities fighting.
But you can't talk about celebrities fighting.
So something
you can
is
talk
sacred.
about celebrities' sons being busted in, a little bit of.
But actually, I'm on his side in that because I do think the punishment doesn't fit the crime and definitely the publicity doesn't fit the crime. It's just wasting time. And a day when people are being mowed down by SUVs which involve ministers, this gets front page. What is wrong with our society? For us, right? Make a film on that. I mean, I was just.
If I make a film on that, I will probably be like the next person to be mowed off, Cyrus. So
maybe it's just that cognitive functioning of human beings that gossip is more important than anything else. So your human life is not really the crux of the issue. Let's not get into a sad state of affairs. Let's move to. So then what happens? So then you've been the AD, right, on this one?
I actually, it's funny. I've never been an assistant director in my life. The first job that I got was a highly celebrated position called the associate director, which is the director's right hand. So if the director is absent,
vice captain. So
it's the vice captain actually.
Wow.
So when the director is absent, you really get to.
How did he put so much faith in a guy who's working for the first time in a sense? He was just isn't that like a high opening for someone?
The Ivy League paid off finally.
Okay, so Amol Gupta and Amir Khan being the two educated people on the set. That's it.
They were like, "ये पढ़ा लिखा है, इसको कुछ आता होगा, इसको आगे करो."
They must be grateful they can have a conversation with someone beyond Sakar hai isme ya nahi? The usual morning conversations. Yeah, chai
I actually interned on a film side. Cyrus, I can't talk about it, but I interned on a film where I was literally called the Starbucks boy. I was supposed to get Starbucks for these big actors who were shooting in New York then, and that was my job. I was the Starbucks boy. That's it.
It was written in
So
the sheet.
Starbucks boy Faraz. Yeah, literally Starbucks boy. I swear
Because
to
I know
you.
they write everything down and pin it up, and then you have
Yeah.
to identify
So
who's who.
I was literally called Starbucks boy by my ex-boyfriend for like 6 years that I was dating him, because he was like, "Yo, you're getting Starbucks."
But I don't blame him. I feel in the West, it's not like a put down.
It is
It's
not
more like a practical position. It's just
celebrated also,
no, I wouldn't
glorified.
say that, but I'm saying it's just practical. That's what you do. So it's
That's
not a
it.
put down, right?
Yeah,
Here
yeah.
it would be a put down for some reason. Chai wala, oh God, better not say that. Oops, ouch. You know what I
Oh,
meant.
oops! You
Was
did
be
it
careful.
again.
Be careful. Back to you, pen for you.
Gladly,
Yeah.
gladly.
So in
Throw
a
me,
way, so
throw me.
you paid your dues well before Taare Zameen Par associate director ka sthiti or whatever it's called. Well before that, you've done the go for work, what they say, right? Getting the coffee and picking
Oh
up the
yeah, everything.
chairs and whatever
Yeah,
else that you have to do. Is that
yep.
important, you think? But many people, at least in the theater, they say you must start at the back, doing the backstage, doing the heavy stuff, learning how hard life can be before you get a line to do as an actor. Do you think there's merit to that? Or
I think doing theater teaches teaches that to you. It teaches you humility. It's just being. I think humility is so important, Cyrus. I think this generation and many they don't understand the concept of humility. I mean, my interns, when I work with, or my assistants, when I'm directing a film, if I ever turn to them and if I ever say, "Can you please figure out where my coffee is?" They will turn around and they say, "But that's not my job." And back in the day, if my director told me meri coffee kahan hai, I would actually run get the coffee myself. So I think it's a work ethic difference, and I don't know what it is, but I think there's something going on. I mean, it's good
famous?
that people really value them. I don't know what it is, but I think humility is
I think
important.
there's famous. Yeah, but no, not just humility. I'm just saying that there's a sort of in the theater you can't really be the star. It's very rare. Of course,
True.
now they do these plays where they call this one guy and pay him more because they want to, someone, which is a different story altogether. But generally, when you're doing a play, it's a collective effort, as you know, and you
Yeah.
don't really, so you'll end up, getting coffee for someone, they're getting coffee for you, and all these things don't become an issue.
Yeah.
But in Hindi films, at least, I don't know much about the Western culture, but Hindi films, whatever I've done, I mean, it's ridiculous. You dare go and get your own thing. There are three spot guys running to get it. You're sitting there and
मैं ले आता हूँ सर, मैं ले आता
they
हूँ.
they
Yeah.
convert you from being a leftist to being a hardcore capitalist by the end with your trailer, and yeah, and then they I mean the umbrella coming up. I'm like, why?
It's
Because
designed.
they don't want you to get tanned in
Oh
the
my
5 foot
god.
walk. I'm like,
Fair
really?
and lovely. Fair and lovely.
Yeah, but that's don't start. There's something vicious about that actually. Yeah, in a way, this whole concept that we have of the star being glorified to
Oh my
such an extent
goodness.
is ridiculous. Okay, let's move this along. Well, I want to discuss all the trolling and all the crap that's happening. Stanley Kadabba is next, where you're the associate director again
Yep.
and executive producer. What does that mean?
Basically doing everything. Everything from
Producer and director.
I was the executive producer because we were like a crew of like 6 people, really. We did everything. So
But
we were washing utensils that we used for the shoot, and then we were going and saying action, and then we were getting the children to come and act. Yeah,
really,
yeah. It was
it was a
everything.
skeleton
It
crew.
was it was a motley crew, and we
But I've
really.
seen the film. It looks like quite a monumental piece of work.
Thank you, Cyrus. Yeah, but it was a
One would never think.
what was going on behind the camera was a film and a half, actually, and very but great learning. Great learning happened, because when you're doing literally everything, you end up learning so much more than not doing, just being like, I'm just going to do this. So
And
pretty
then you did Gippi. Is that right?
Gip,
Gippi.
Gippi,
Sorry,
Gippi.
I'm also
Yeah.
Parsi. You have to understand. You should just leave that aside and don't sledge me. You also did Nero's guess on a very, I would say, dangerous but difficult story, farmer
Yeah.
suicides, because that's never changed. It's so much so that we're desensitized. At least I would think I'm desensitized to it. From the 70s, from being in school in the 80s, to
You're
reading
right.
about these things and different governments. You can't even blame one government anymore. It just
Yeah,
carries
you're right.
on. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
you're
what we
right.
call, they always talk about all kinds of incentives and that for the farmers, but nothing changes. We won't get into that because you have too much to tell us. But we can see from there that it's very important for you to make films or be associated with films which have a lot of soul in them and not too much fluff. I'm a big Fluff fan. I'm a little upset about that. Then Faraz wrote the story and screenplay. This is where the Indo-Pakistan Peace Project, which I hope people understand the word peace there more than Pakistan, because the moment they hear that word, there are a few people in this
It's the
country
P word.
who need medication. Yeah. But if they could just read that there's peace there, and the incentive is to bring people together. And anyway, good luck to you. I've lost interest in mankind. I'm with my dogs all day.
I'm with my cat, Cyrus. We're good.
Yeah, there you go. So we've learned, right? So tell us about Silvat and how did that come about?
I wanted to make Silvat myself, and I wrote this film, and I was very excited about it. But I had like 50,000 rupees, and Tanuja Chandra had 50. I don't know how much
Million.
money she had. Yeah, I mean, so sadly, I had to give to give away my film, and I said,
You did what Sylvester Stallone didn't do. He did not hawk Rocky 1. He said they all laughed at him. This guy could hardly speak English with a thick Italian American accent. I mean, the half mouth of his and all that, and this strange physique, and with the loping head. He would go and they would be like, "This is not a star. This is like some DJ in a nightclub or something." He stood his ground, and the rest is history. You didn't stand your ground.
Yeah, I was just very desperate to see the film getting made. Yeah, I think I just wanted. I was at a very difficult time in life where I just wanted things to happen. You just want things to happen. You want your stories to be out there. So that people at least recognize it. So I think that was more important more than anything else.
And you got the credit.
I did.
It's not like a lot of people do that. They swallow the credit for themselves when you sort of sell.
Yo, let's not go down that path. But that is a murky path, my friend.
Did I open the Pandora's papers?
That is
the box inside them? What? Please.
That is a
Is
murky.
it this film?
No, not this film, but I mean,
in the past.
I have been in the industry for 10 years now, so it's not a long time.
Faraz, who? Call them out.
All I will say is this: I directed a play for HR College, and it was about a very interesting play, and we won first place at Malhar and all these places. And then there's a film that releases, and all these students are calling me on the Friday. They're saying, Faraz, our play has been converted into a film, and I said,
Amir Khan film.
No. This is a film that won like rave reviews and accolades and this and that and all that jazz, and it was exactly my play. And ironically, my play also talks about plagiarism, and this film also had some bits of plagiarism in it. I said, this is meta level shit, right? This is meta level.
You're Shakespeare, bro. You're hitting layers that we can't get to.
This is Black Mirror shit, like Black Mirror meta level shit. So that really. And here's the funny part, Cyrus.
Plot. Little bit. Let me try and think. Somebody on the chat will pick it up. Please.
Let's just say this. It was
2 lines.
No.
1 line. Give me a 1 line. How how they tell you 1 line.
I think it was about sexuality and a little bit of sexuality in it, a little bit of identity in it, family, sexuality. That's all I can say.
Alipur. No. That's too. It's set in
Aligarh.
that thing.
That was
Aligarh.
No.
Alipur is West Bengal. God, you've thrown me with the sexuality thing. Now I'm not able to think.
It's very hard to decipher, but no. So yeah, that
very hard to. I missed that. You gave us a hint and I missed it. Very hard to. Please.
Too bad.
I hope anybody out there on the chat who can figure this out, who got a better sort of memory when it comes to Hindi flicks of the last, I don't think more than 10 years. Please give us your options. And if somebody hits it correctly, then for us, you got to say yes. Okay, that'd be fair. No, that'd be fair. Come on, if they say it, then you can't deny it. Why do people deny? I had a pal who says...
I'm not denying. I'm just like...
But then that's how it continues.
I have learned one thing, Cyrus. Yeah. No, I've learned one thing. Like, let it go. What's done is done, and that's all. You journey on, journey on and create.
One of my colleagues at MTV, Carl Kadgara, he and his friend apparently wrote the plot for Rock On. And then they weren't involved. There was some fight or whatever. So they didn't really get any plaudits for it. And they do the same thing. They don't want to talk about it. I mean, that film was an iconic film and people, really liked it for that time and all that. And if you were involved in the project, especially the base level, because the script in these cases is everything.
100%.
In some cases, I accept it's not. But in these cases, it's everything. So if your script basically made that film, it seems to be a very sensitive portrayal of something. So it's clearly in the script.
Yeah.
It's not, some great acting chops like Lavaris with Amitabh Bachchan, which basically who cares about the plot? He's just doing his thing and we enjoyed it. Okay.
Lesson learned pretty early,
Fair
because
enough.
I have like emails and everything, right, in place, like where we had like correspondence with this person, where I had shared the script of my theater play with this person. So it's all
Dated
on.
before the film was made.
Yeah, 100%. So I actually seeked out a lawyer. I sat down, I understood my pros and cons, and then I said, you know what, doesn't matter, let it go. The film's out, people have liked it, people have celebrated it, whatever. Potatoes.
I am sitting in a lawyer's office right now as we speak. Unfortunately, my dad has got a very bad case of neuropathy and is unable to. His functioning
Oh,
is not great, mental or physical.
I'm sorry.
So there's no lawyer. But I have the office. I have all the books. Now everybody uses the internet, but I have the old books. So we're willing to wait years. We'll win this case because I have to
We'll
find
win this
the
case.
chapter and verse, precedents, etc. Yeah. But I won't charge. So we're from the same tribe, so that there'll be no charge.
Thanks, Cyrus.
Then 12 episodes of a Times Internet platform called Dulha Wanted. Is that a
It was a web series.
funnyish,
I,
lighter,
yeah, it is. It
which
is
you've
fluff.
not really
It
done?
is fluff. No, I love doing.
Yeah.
Listen, I love fluff. I love doing fluff, and I wanted to do fluff because after I made Sisak, which was my first, which happens to be India's first silent queer film, it won 60 international awards. First time an
Wow.
Indian film won 60 international awards, and I sold my car. I put my apartment on rent to make this film, and then it goes on to win 60 awards, right? So it was phenomenal. But nobody recognized me in India, right? We won 60 awards internationally, but back home in India, we didn't win a single award, Cyrus.
But they built a statue for you in Lahore because what you've done is brought India and Pakistan together. Here, there's no appreciation, man. Really amazing, unbelievable. Yeah. It's so funny that we live in a time when someone who is trying to do something positive for everybody, for humanity,
Yeah.
let's just call it humanity, forget getting into boundaries, yet people will find fault with you. They
Always,
themselves
right?
will do no act of charity in their life, and they'll find fault with people who actually look at a wider sort of scale and look at humanity, and they try to bring humanity onto their canvas, whatever that canvas is. So I find that a very, very funny thing for me, how people can point fingers with actually having no humanity themselves.
That's true.
I don't like human beings, Faraz. I'm sorry, and what you tell me, I hate them more. Let's get into. We've got Sisak, and then we've got, of course, Sheer Qorma. Then we'll have to take a break. So
Yes.
lots to talk about. So quickly, in
Yes.
2 minutes, she's the first silent LGBTQ love story. So this is the first time you've actually, in a sense, gone for something which is very close to your heart.
Yeah, went for it. Sold my car, put my apartment on rent, and went for it. Moved it back with my parents, and but it was interesting because I honestly did it because I was really, nobody was giving me an opportunity to make a film. Yeah, Cyrus. I mean, I went around like every producer's office. I knocked on every door saying, "Give me some money, and I promise to make a really cool film." And they're like, "Kya hai? Silent film hai, gay film hai, kaun dekhega?" Like dissed it off like that, dissed it off, and I was like, come on, Faraz, you don't need that car. Do you really need that car? There was no Uber back in 20. I mean, there was Uber, but expensive Uber back then in 2017. But I went ahead. I sold my car and I made the film, and it went to over 300 film festivals, and it won 60 international awards. So did pay off, and I made tons of money.
So, so your path is like many famous people in the past, where you guys celebrated outside the boundaries of your own area first. Which is not a bad thing, actually. There are a lot of examples before where this has happened. So that's a good sign, I would say. Did you think India was sensitized enough to accept these films? Because why do they shy away from it? What is the reason? Do they feel the market is saying, "Oh, I don't want to see this"?
No, Cyrus. I think it's homophobia. It's just blatant
from the producer and financier you're talking to, not from the public.
Not from the public.
How do they speak for the public?
Because they're sitting in these positions of power, right? And they think they are
so it's their
the original, they know everything.
Their point of view. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
100%.
Because I mean, if you say that 5 to 10% of the population are alternative sexuality or genders, etc., just that is a market enough. Then there are enough liberals who are normal people who will watch the film because it's a film, not about what you're trying to do. So that I mean, I can't believe that the market is less. It's a normal market like anything else. You have a sizable amount of the population who come, and of course you'll have idiots who don't want to come. That's fine. You don't want 100% of the market.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I don't.
I mean, you're a Parsi. There are less than 60,000 of you left. What's wrong with you? Okay, but you got the acclaim. You won the awards. Your confidence must have grown. A bit like that Rodriguez guy who sold his kidney and made that film, and the rest was history there too. So was that like crossing a line for you? Because you put your money where your mouth is. You took something close to your heart. You said F you to everybody else. I'm making this film, and you made it. And then you got a lot of plaudits, celebrated around the world. Your name was known.
Yeah.
So how did that feel?
I actually felt like about time, to be honest. I was so tired of waiting,
Don't worry, that's not arrogant. That's a heaving a sigh of relief. I totally get it, yeah.
Honestly, I was like, about time, about time people understand and appreciate the effort that goes into making a film where, where you really believe in it. Yeah, I think that's so important. We don't see things these days that people really make where they truly believe in it, putting things on risk and all that. I mean, you hear about this, like, Meera Nair did it, way back in the day when she made her first film, when she made Salam Bombay, and I keep hearing her story. She literally sold each and everything that she owned to make that film. I mean, that's the amount of belief, how many filmmakers worth their weight in salt will be able to do this today is my question, to make Sheila Ki Jawani or, things like that. I mean, no shade, but, I think it's imperative to understand. Yeah, I mean, cinema is a responsibility. Of course, it's entertaining and all of that, and I totally love that.
If I was a producer and I met a guy who said, "Look, I sold my house, my car, put my reputation on the line. I have no food at home, whatever," I'd be like, "I'll invest in this guy because this guy is at least 100% credible."
Yeah.
As against me, I'll be like, "I'll work only 9 to 5 and I'll not work Sundays." My thinking is always that way. I mean, who do you want in your team? You want the guy who says, "Here I am, blood and guts in all its glory. I've got nothing left. I'm putting everything out on the, in sporting terms, it's when the guy who puts everything out on the field. He leaves nothing when he steps out. So it's that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we just live with crazy people who don't seem to understand that that's called passion, and that's the kind of guy you want in the artistic sort of mediums more than anything else. Okay, quickly, the big day, Netflix.
Yeah, big day. So I keep
you make that cynical smile. Now, what does that mean?
I keep doing passion projects, and then I do like a big project just to make sure that I don't get boxed, to keep in with my non-binary identity.
It also cleanses you in a sense, because it's very heavy, some of the stuff you do.
It does.
And maybe you need a cleanse.
It does. And the big day was just that, staying in 5-star hotels, attending weddings, which like cost like crores and crores and crores of rupees. There was this one wedding that I was shooting in Jaipur, Cyrus. Early in the morning at 9, we were filming. We were taking the shot, and we were not told that there'll be elephants. And you think like 1 elephant, 2 elephant, right? We're not ready for elephants. There were 25 elephants walking down Rambagh Palace in Taj, and I was like, I just didn't know even to say action. So my DOP is standing there, and he's like, "Do you want me to roll?" And I was like, yeah, 25 elephants. It was nuts, and I think that sort of grandeur you don't get to see in real life. I don't know anyone in my family or anyone who's got married with 25 elephants.
It's not that. If you had the money and the bandwidth and the influence, would you still have 25 elephants? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
I would rather make films, and have my car.
I wouldn't mind going hanging out with the elephants, going and,
sure.
let's go bathe elephants together, something like that. But just this splendor of being a Mughal king at a Sangeet or something, I mean, sorry, God. After some time, there's ostentatious and there's vulgar. I mean, okay, we won't comment. It's not our money. So you did it. I don't think you should ever have to question that. I mean, this is life. There's a variety.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I absolutely.
You also know what you don't want to do. Every time you do that, it also clearly, you got that in your head now. Yeah.
But it was
so. I'll tell you what, we have to take a break. We've talked too much as usual. We'll come back with Sheer Qorma, and I want to talk about all these trolls and where you stand in society and how you deal with people having the guts to just call a spade and be yourself. And why should a man ever pay for that, or why should they or them ever pay for that? I stand corrected. We'll take a break. Just taking a sip of my delicious, you can talk in between, Slay coffee that I just had delivered to me. It's the perfect drink to wake you the hell up every single morning. I mean, by drinking it, not throwing it on yourself to wake yourself up. Don't do that. Be careful. Slay coffee has some incredibly delicious options of beverages, like their caramel twist latte or their long black java, which is their Americano, and tons more. My personal favorite, of course, is their Madras Mud Filter Coffee. It's lip-smacking, freshly brewed, intensely flavorful, and bold coffee concentrate. These are my own words. A unique blend of Arabica and Robusta beans sourced from the high-altitude estates of Chikmagalur, the coffee capital of India. I didn't trip on that, Silvery. I just played with that for a little while like an artist, like Luciano Pavarotti with the high C. I took my time over the note. Yeah. I love it especially for its full-bodied choco caramel notes and sweet residual aftertaste. It's just wow, guys. Slay Coffee, still slaying it. So order India's best rated coffee today on Swiggy and Zomato. Siberia, I know we have to do AMAs and, as much as we can. Sheer Qorma, which is what we're talking about, which is actually why we called him on to discuss his present work. It stars Shabana Azmi, Divya Dutta, and Swara Bhaskar, and all three of them could be called left-leaning. So yes, will be well promoted by the center. Okay, the story of love and acceptance. You tell us about queer Muslim women and non-binary characters of color. So now you've really gone for a certain corridor. Why are we laughing? All right, yeah, I'm just
sorry.
No, I don't know why Swara gets. I mean, the poor thing is voicing her opinion, and all these people try to silence her all the time. I mean, what happened to democracy? And nobody's witty. I don't mind banter. Just talk back in the same. Say what you want. But it's never fun to read. Same thing as slicing on the sports field. If you want, say what you want. But why do you have to abuse people? Because that any idiot can do. You're just a barbarian then. Sitting and whoa. So let's go.
They don't even have good masturbation jokes. They keep trolling her on that one masturbation scene she did once.
Yeah. Like, and you think the woman has done 40 films and you could only find that one scene because that's the only thing you're interested in. So that just tells you,
But obsessed with that. I'm like, come on, move on, man. Like, how many times did you masturbate from that now? Get over it.
Oh God, Faraz, that's horrible. Have you seen these people? They never have that sexual visual in my head. Sheer Qorma. So again, I'm repeating the queer Muslim women, non-binary characters of color. So on so many levels of prejudice, you've made a sort of story. So you want to tell us?
Yeah, sure. Growing up in the 90s, there was like zero representation in cinema, right? I mean, queer people were reduced down to comic relief and all of that. And Muslim characters, they still are a joke in this country in cinema. I mean, from being the Tawaifs, then we were the supporting best friends, then we had become invaders, and now we've become terrorists. So that's been the trajectory that of a Muslim person in Indian cinema. And I was like, where in the scheme of things do I fit in? Because I don't see myself as any of those. And I said I want to make a film that is about my family, and I have been really taught, like, just love everyone regardless of who they are. And I said I want to see my family being represented on screen, so that people understand this. Their Islamophobia is a little uncalled for in many ways, and I think that's why I made Sheer Qorma. I think more than about sexuality and gender and all of that, which is great, I really wanted to make a film about a progressive side of a Muslim family, because you never really see that. It's always a miss from cinema. So that's why Sheer Qorma.
There's certain charming defiance in the whole idea. I remember having a shirt in New York in '94 when I was there for some time, which I picked up on the road, which said, "I'm black, gay, Jewish, and proud." And I was like, I just love that shirt. I used to wear it, even though I'm not really any of those. But I just like that. There's a certain sense of, it's not a romantic defiance. It's like, I'm all these things. Screw you.
Yeah.
In a way, it's about time people did that, don't you think?
100%. Being yourself.
Why should you? It was the same thing that the guy who owns Licious told us about. Why do we have the word non-vegetarian? Why is it a negative connotation? Why do they have it? It's only in India. When you eat abroad, there's no non-veg and veg menu, anything like that. There's just food. And then you choose what you want. And you can see the description. If you want veg, there are a couple of dishes and whatever. But here we have this, it's almost like prejudice, right? That non-vegetarian means you're tainted, paap hai. That there's a non to it. And there is, and we discussed it in deep, and there is. There's the same thing with all this, just because you're Muslim. I mean, suddenly people raise their eyebrows because the word Muslim is suddenly a strange word. We've all grown up with Muslims, not like something new. We all eat Muslim food, Muslim culture, Muslim cricket captain, Muslim president. What the hell are you talking about? It's not, Muslim in Bollywood. I mean, 50% almost. Then you come to, what are the other things? They're queer. 10% of the population, give or take. So what's the big deal? You all know somebody in your family is queer. Stop acting. Stop pretending. Mostly there's a theory, I don't know if you know this, that the strongest, the most vociferous people against people of alternative sexuality are actually those who are latently gay or latently queer themselves and are suppressing thing, and they go into this very right-wing state.
It's true.
So other people, it's just not. Why should you care so much to disrespect somebody? That always is bothersome, don't you think? To go out of your way.
But I think people understand hate more, right? I mean, hate is so easier to do, right? Hate is so easier to get to.
Casual.
It's just casual, right? It's like, I'm going to be cool, I'm going to hate everyone. But why can't it be like, I'm going to be cool and I'm going to love everyone? I don't understand this prejudice against love. It's very interesting, because I keep thinking about that a lot. Every time you make a film on love, people are like, fuck you, But every time you make a film on like hate and war, and everyone's like, yeah, man, cool. That's That's it. I think by default we're aligned to like things that are more hateful, more vengeful. It comes probably from the fact that we used to be barbarians at some point of time, and I think that has really carried forward in our understanding of culture and our understanding of entertainment, for that matter. We like to see people fight it out rather than love it out. So I think that's maybe that. I don't
Also,
know.
I think what you're doing is fantastic because you're trying to, not trying to, you are doing, you're just representing a lot of people that you want to represent who don't have a voice in mainstream society yet because the rest of the movers and shakers don't allow them to come out. So you're doing that. And I think as that happens, there'll be more confidence in the community, and you think more people who hide from their real identity will come out. The powerful ones I'm talking about, because they are really going to make the difference. People say who are politicians, people who are industrialists, people who are huge businessmen, conglomerates, teachers, writers, or writers probably do come out because, that's a type of person who's not uncomfortable. But you know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of people who, once they start coming out and saying, look, this is me. Like I said, black, gay, Jewish, and proud. This is me. Why should anyone in India have to answer to who they are? Your identity should never be questioned unless you're like a rapist or something. That's a different identity. But just for what you are, how does it matter? It's really sad we're having this conversation today in 2021, whatever, October now. And I'm thinking back to the 90s and all, where, because growing up in the theater with a lot of friends who were gay, etc. and all, some would come out, some would not. And you think after 30 years it would have changed, but it's not really. In some ways, in some areas, it's even worse. So kudos to you,
getting worse. It's getting worse. Like I know so many people who identify, on the gay spectrum, but they go ahead and they get married to women and all. Like even
why do
now,
they do that?
It's happening because
I know
we live in a world like that.
There was a famous wedding at Wankhede Stadium, and also they hide the whole place. And 3 months later, turned out to be alternative sexuality, the bride or the groom. I think the groom. But they all knew that, right? So why did you pressurize this guy? Why did they do all that? Look at how much face and money and everything that they've lost now. They can't go back. The marriage is broken, etc. Why?
Really sad.
We should be the parents of India. Be careful. What I meant was the symbolic parents of India, because I think these things we can understand better. Some parents can't. Faraz has taken the fifth. He's pleading. He's a half American now, so he's got that right. Yeah, really. Anyway, just let's quickly finish about it. So, San Francisco LGBT Film Festival qualifying for the BAFTA, which is for 2022.
Yep.
So you think we can win?
We actually became the. It was interesting. I never thought we were going to win Frameline also. Frameline is really selective. They choose 15 films every year, and Sheer Qorma was the only Indian film there. And the festival's been running for 45 years, Cyrus. This is the first Indian film to ever win Frameline, right? In 45 years. And nobody back home even knows about it. So it was a little baffling when I got the email at 3 a.m. I was feeding my cat. And suddenly my phone rings and I'm like, oh, what's that? And it says you won Frameline. I was like, what? I actually froze. So it was, I still can't believe it. Yeah, I still can't believe it. Of course, BAFTA is a whole different thing, and you have to really lobby and need to have tons of, money and backing to be able to, break into those markets. But I'm just glad that, the film won Frameline and it qualified for BAFTA. I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Like winning an Emmy and then winning the Oscar. Is that
it is.
yardstick?
Yeah, 100%. I think to be qualifying for BAFTA also is a big deal. To win Frameline is a big deal itself, right? It took 45 years for an Indian film to actually win. Actually, for a South Asian film, I'm being corrected by my manager, by a South Asian film to actually win Frameline in 45 years. So
wow, all South Asian countries.
All South Asian countries. Yeah.
Not bad at all. So there's pressure on you now because we're expecting it, huh? Because
no pressure. No pressure.
Great. If you win the BAFTA, that'd be just great. And again, it'll continue with your whole legacy of being super celebrated abroad and appreciated abroad more than perhaps in India. I'm not talking about from people. People will always appreciate you, but let's just say the stern critics of the country, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just quickly, as we go to the AMAs, you were telling us that you're getting death threats and all that. I don't understand this. For making films, as you say, celebrating love, celebrating identity and openness and confidence. And these are all positive things that you bring out. There's no real negativity in your writing. So what's the reason?
People don't like love, Cyrus. I think love doesn't really sell, right?
There is a reason you're not saying, Faraz. People are choots. When are you going to say this? Do I have to use an Arnav voice to make you say this? Then I'll use an Arnav voice to make you say this. Because only he understands how to get people to understand what he's saying. Yeah. Really,
The
what is
people,
wrong with the
yeah.
people out there who spend their whole time trolling and attacking other people for their views? I mean, why do you have to be so abusive and aggressive when someone is just making a film? You like it or don't like it? There's no more to it.
I remember the day the poster of Sheer Qorma launched in October 2019. For 3 weeks on Twitter, they were trending this hashtag called boycott Sheer Qorma. They haven't seen the film. They have no idea what the film is about, but they started boycotting it. And I was like, you won't even be able to watch the film because clearly you're going to be stuck in India. You won't get to travel to any film festivals. How are you going to watch it? And then they went on IMDb. This is pre-release. So the film released in June 2021 this year. But in May 2021, a friend of mine called and he said, hey, have you seen the IMDb rating of your film? And I said, how can there be an IMDb rating? My film hasn't released. He was like, it's 1 point something. I said, what? So all these trolls went on IMDb and started rating my film even before the film released.
Wow, without seeing the film.
Without seeing the film. So my film has a rating of like, I don't know, some
Silvery,
2
that's comedy. Please write it down. This is a comic moment if ever there was one. Only in India,
Only in
they
India.
criticize, they do a full proper critique with pages and pages of abuse without seeing the film.
Without seeing the film.
AKA the satanic verses. Nobody read the book. Kill him! Just kill him! What is the book about? I don't know. Kill him!
Kill him.
It's amazing. This
Oh,
is humor
no.
at its best, bro. I mean, I'm sure you had a laugh. I mean, isn't that funny?
It's
At least in
funny.
hindsight. It's ridiculous. People
It's
are,
actually ridiculous.
Faraz, people are.
People are choosing.
Yes! Victory! Victory! I don't know what to say to people like that. And I want to know how people have so much time to do that, to just spend hours irritating
Yeah,
you. And you're saying every day you got some joker trolling you, some team of people trying to pass snide comments.
Average of 20 people a day
What are you
across
saying?
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and now for some reason they have started sending emails to my team saying, "Oh, Faraz ko milao," and I'll share this
But
incident.
why, if it's an option, why would they? Well, look at the lack of intelligence. You're doing death threats and beating threats and all that, and you're saying Faraz ko milao. Like he wants to volunteer to get beaten up by you. Yeah.
How
That makes
stupid.
sense.
Are you
Really?
dumb or what? But this happened, Cyrus. I was at Delhi airport in 2017 and I was on the front page of Delhi Times, right? I was very excited. First time front page. I was clicking a picture and sending it to my mum. And this dude shows up out of nowhere with a cup of cheap coffee. And he looks at me and he abuses me and he throws this hot coffee on my face. And he says, people like you should be murdered. And this happened at the airport. So I go to the cops and I'm like, hey, this happened to me. And I've got my entire neck was red. And they're looking at me. They're like, kuch hua to nahi na.
That's another story about slackiness of our...
I said, go get the dude. He threw hot coffee on my face. He's like, kya kare, hota rehta hai sir, abhi aisa, abhi kya kar sakte?
You're kidding me.
I swear. This is exactly what was told to me. And
hot coffee can scald you. Could have burnt you really badly, I mean, if it was really hot.
Yeah.
It's a serious weapon. It's not like a joke weapon.
Honestly.
If you throw water on you, it's a joke weapon. Or an egg or something. That's the point.
Exactly.
But this is a murderous weapon. Yeah.
Hot coffee, he must have seen me and got it. And, I got a coffee facial.
Yeah.
So
then you turn around, take a sip and say, sugar nahi hai usme. You should have done one of those, Throw more coffee de do, yaar. Yeah.
But yeah.
I have 2 words for you. 3. German Shepherd dog. Just keep a German Shepherd. Your cats are nice. Shepherds are great. Trust me, they're ready to scrap with these kind of people immediately. They can pick it up. The best in the world. Really. And then you don't go to the cops. He'll go to the cops. And then the cop is still lazy. ठीक है, एक कान तो गया, दूसरा कान है ना, ठीक है, whatever. So it'll work out. But really, Faraz, it's awful that you have to listen to these messages. I don't know what to say. Whenever it happens to me, I don't even reply and we just ignore them. But I'm sure yours is far more amplified because of who you are and what you stand for. Still don't understand what's bugging them. What is bugging them? I'm not able to understand. I cannot relate to the fact that they're getting angry.
Visibility.
You know what? So they don't want you to exist as a human being?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just look at the lack of, it's beyond humanity. I don't understand. It's like they're real monsters. They're completely heartless people because because your films have nothing. Actually, they're not controversial. You're just actually making films about people. And the people are a little different from the people who are getting angry with you. But then we're all different, aren't we? In some way or the other.
And it's exactly about these people who are getting angry about it. I'm like, you watch my film, it might just help you, you know.
Also, you expose them because the negative. That's a point though. So they sort of identify with the negative factors in the film. And obviously they do. Then they're feeling bad because you're showing us in bad light just because we beat our women and just because we don't tolerate homosexuality and stone those people. You're making us look bad. We do so much charity. You have no idea. Every day in the mandir, I drop 2 flowers every day. Oh man, Faraz, don't. If you are going, luckily, right now, see, my militancy will be only for animals, but maybe I'll include a little bit more now. I'm getting to your point of view.
Thank
we
you.
started our group
that.
is called Cyrus Bucks. We have only things I can pronounce it. Yeah. Okay, let's get the EMAs because 11:10, young man, I have to get onto a Zoom call to earn money. And it's so difficult to understand so many things in the tech world, like artificial intelligence. What is that? It just sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? Luckily, though, Intel's digital readiness program empowers everyone with skill sets, mindsets, and tool sets to use in an AI-fueled world so you don't end up like me. As part of the Intel for Youth program, Intel's been working with the CBSE, Ministry of Education, and the Government of India to empower today's youth to build social impact solutions while demystifying what AI is. How do you take advantage of this? Come on, it's very simple. For us, pay attention, purchase an Intel Core powered PC and you get free access to 80 plus hours of immersive and hands-on training about AI. On completion of the program, you get, along with a certificate, access to AI toolsets to try to put. So log on, don't wait, to futurebanawonderful.intel.com. Future Bana Wonderful by bringing home an Intel powered PC. Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Let me then just carry on with, because I'm most interested. How do you respond? You probably also get a lot of praise, right? Because I mean, you're stepping foot in areas which no one else is. One thing you cannot be accused of being a copy. Everything is original. You're telling your story. Most of your we won't talk about the stuff you do in between to pay the bills, where you have to shoot elephants parading and all that, which also has its place. But you do get a lot of praise. You've got a lot of kudos for all these different things that you've done and all that. How does it feel? Do you feel like you're under a lot of pressure and responsibility because you're like a voice?
Not really. I mean, I don't really let it get to my head. Yeah, I just understand that there's so much more to do and so much more to say, and so little time. So it's always about journeying on, moving to the next thing and to the bigger thing, more inclusive, more, more love. Because I think we're moving towards really crazy times. So the more love that you can really put out there, I think that's really going to help. So
and maybe out of those 100 monkeys, not monkeys are lovely animals, those 100 human beings, the worst people of all, who troll you, maybe 2 or 3 soften their stand, in a way. Because
that has happened, Cyrus. No, that has actually happened. There was this person who used to troll me from 2017 to 2019 onwards. And then recently this person saw Sheer Qorma at a film festival. And this person is in America, right? This is the white dude who's been trolling me for a long time. And then he reached out to me on Twitter and he said, you know what? Your film made me cry and it made me call my mother after 20 years. So I was actually baffled. Wow. I thought he was trolling me again, but then he genuinely meant it. And we actually had a conversation, and I said,
he cleansed his soul.
Yeah. And I said, next time I'm in America, I'd love to meet you for a cup of coffee or something like that. And he said, yeah, bro. He said, come over, man. And I was like, okay, cool. The coming over might be a little too much, but
Faraz, you may make another film in the interim, which again will toss him back to the his medieval state of mind. Okay, we've got Silvery back. Silvery, are you alive?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, my internet is just crashing today, man.
Yeah, no worries. 11:10, I have to go. I want to hear what they say about Faraz. Hope we get some nice support. Yeah, go on.
Okay, quickly. Harvesh Kasad has a comment. He says Faraz should have tweeted about the coffee incident at the airport. He might have gotten Z security. And that's kind of cool.
Well, that's a nice pun also, because I think one of the shows was a Z deal, the India-Pakistan peace plan, which seems to be appreciated across the border more. Did you tweet? Do you talk about these things, your everyday life and all, or this is, you keep it private?
No, I don't. I'm pretty private that way.
But if you could have just taken a picture of the perpetrator and we could put it up, he could have been shamed. That's the one thing about the internet.
Cyrus, it was so soon. It was like,
Yeah,
imagine you're having like coffee in your face. You're like, what the? And the person,
And then you're trying to cover your face and the guy's gone. And
I was like, you ruined my shirt in the morning. I was wearing a white shirt. So I was like, I'm
that's
a
what you
Virgo.
took
So
out of it.
I'm a Virgo. I'm like, don't ruin my shirt, yo. Don't ruin my shirt.
You really made him feel like a failure. He's like, that's not my point, was not the shirt. It's your movies. Okay, next.
All right. Next one comes in from Ruben David. He says, "Is the timing of Bollywood controversy suspicious, especially when they hog media coverage and overshadow real problems? It was SSR during COVID, Raj Kundra during Pegasus, and SRK when Lakhimpur happens."
SRK happened a little before. Sorry, Aryan Khan happened slightly before.
Lakhimpur, yeah.
But anyway, what do you think? I mean, they could have.
Maybe not. I think there's a time for everything, and everything is divinely timed. Sorry, but I don't know whose ass is being saved here. But I think there is. I'm sure, we live in a circus, and there's no denying that. I think we see the circus every day, day in and day out, and I definitely think there is a method to the madness. It all seems like chaos, but it is planned chaos. It's organized. The chaos, and I think that's what it is.
But in the light of Lakhimpur, a bunch of kids who may or may not be imbibing what doesn't appear to be hugely narcotic, violent stuff. Really, they're making a mountain out of a molehill, and you would think that really is that front page news.
They would be legal in Canada.
Exactly, and if you want Shah Rukh Khan's son, would it even make the paper? It would be on page 11 in the last paragraph or something. Come on. Here you've got people being mowed down with cameras capturing it, and then to and fro about who's done it and pointing fingers at each other with going out. That's what you should be investigating.
100%.
What are you talking about? We've all been young ones. Everybody smoked this, that, and the other, including the sons of mantris and lawyers and judges and everything else. Daughters as well. Sorry, let's not leave out it. And all genders. So it's not like the whole society is touched by this. Yeah, for us, make a film on this, man. This is nonsense. Really,
let's write it, Cyrus. Let's write it.
The publicity should correlate to the so-called crime. The guys it's not affecting India. Lakhimpur is affecting India, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyway, that's.
But there are so many other things that are affecting us that we don't talk about, right? That's
exactly on that very day. There would have been so many things. There will be a rape. There'll be a beating. There'll be a lynching. There'll be some stupid law being passed. There'll be bad behavior.
I believe
there'll be no parking in Churchgate area where I am. What about that? This is ridiculous. Silvery, next one, please.
It is out of parking.
Now the lockdown. I'm missing the lockdown. For us, we used to just drive here, me and the wife, and we would just park anywhere. We wouldn't even park properly because there's no other car coming.
Same.
Oh man,
I was 2 cars behind you, Cyrus.
Yeah, I think so. 8:15 in the morning. I can't be later than that, so that I'm ensure I get my parking. It's ridiculous. And then I go to sleep on my desk here like a fool. Silvery, next one.
Next one comes from Prithvi. He says, there's a jewelry brand in India that features members of the LGBTQIA community. I forget which one. It's a positive sign. Any opinions on this one step forward? So there is an ad. I don't know if you've seen this. There's an ad of Bhima jewelry.
The Tanish cat. Oh, okay. Bhima. Okay.
Tanish cat also? Okay. I've seen the Bhima jewelry ad.
It's about interfaith marriage thing.
Interfaith.
Yeah. That's... You put it all in one basket in your film. So yes, you're fair enough to bring that up. Yeah. Go on, Silvery. What is the point?
This is a Bhima ad that talks about that shows a member, or I think it's a trans woman who is trying to just live her life, and then so there's like a montage between how she's coming out to her family, how her family is taking it, and how there's different ways she's going about her life. It's pretty well done. The ad Bhima jewelry.
Yeah, this goes straight to I think Faraz only can answer that. Is it good when mainstream society has, instead of just
100%? I mean, we need more of it, right? This is like one drop in the ocean. We need the whole ocean now. About time. I keep saying that we were not doing enough. We think like one little thing happens and then we'll talk about it for 20 years. But I think there should be 5,000 things happening, and then and more and more and more and more and more, which actually is not happening. So I think that needs to change. The amplification needs to change.
Like he says, that one step forward at least. Let's not look at it negatively. You're right.
200%.
It has to go fast and all that, but at least it's better than the other side of it, where they pretend it doesn't exist.
Something is better than nothing.
Yeah, which has been my career. Come on, Silvery.
Next one comes in from Bruce Wayne. He says, I feel Indians go to cinemas as an escape and don't like to watch stories which are serious or sad. They want fantasy/fluff because their lives are sad enough. Thoughts?
But that's not Indians, huh? Faraz, is that fair to say Indians? This is a worldwide phenomenon, right?
That's everyone.
You have yeah. So what do you say?
We used to sit and watch like a tigers wrestle human beings, right? I mean, that's
Mr.
been our
Natwarlal.
that's been our journey. I mean, even
And Mr.
even
Natwarlal footage of tigers, it's I mean, I shot that film, it looks like, it's just
it's crazy. It's crazy. No, but I think we enjoy that, But I mean, but then we talk about Shakespeare as well, right? And it's not always about sad, serious things. And why does sad? I mean, I think this whole concept of mainstream being loud and crass also needs to change. Mainstream can be sensitive. Mainstream can be feminine. Mainstream can be all of those things. So it's not about either this or that. It's about this and that. And I think that needs to happen. I mean, sad can be fluffy as well, and fantasy can be serious as well. So I think it's all about amalgamating it.
For us, is it fair to say that different points of your life, you want different things? So one day you're feeling really down and out, and you just want some fluff because you just, you're not in a good emotional state, right? Say something bad has happened or whatever. So you just don't want to get into any more sensitive area. But other times you want meaning in your life, and without any sensitive portrayal, I mean, it's like a pointless 3 hours or 2.5 hours or whatever it is. It is
90 minutes now.
90 minutes, but still, get up and think, what the hell was that? I mean, just people shooting each other for 90 minutes. I mean, so I think time and place is very important for these things.
100%.
What you're feeling.
100%. I agree. Yeah. I agree too. Yeah.
There's always erotic stuff to turn to if you have nothing else. I mean, that's always worth it, I would think. Silvery, can we get 2 more quick?
Yeah, okay.
One more.
Okay, last one. Okay, one more. This one is a very funny comment. Harsh Suthar has said, "Hi, Cyrus. My mama has got your face and Kunal Vijayakar's belly."
Well,
this is what it is.
Well, look at it this way. If he had Kunal's face and my belly, it would be as bad. So I don't know what he's trying to say there. I mean, wish we could help him. I think it goes to that Bernard Shaw comment or the famous comment about or Churchill replying to someone who said, "If I had your looks and my body and your brains and my body." A Hollywood actress, and he said, "What if it was the other way around? Yeah, my body and your brains." So it's something like that. Yeah, but Kunal's belly has gone down by 14 kilos. For me, it's I'm quickly. This is a topic which is not close to Faraz's heart, I'm sure. I can't stand people who lose weight. I just think they're selfish, egoistic, and mean. And I don't understand what the point is, honestly, because you just look really disgusting after some time because you've been fat all your life and that's the vision you've left us, and now you become this person and you look like a file or something with a fat face. So I'm very disappointed in that. I'm telling all those who are large, don't lose your weight, keep your identity. In a sense, there's a complex to that as well, which is so unnecessary. Just be who you are. Everybody just takes pressure from everybody else. Lose weight. You got double chin, triple chin. So what? Somebody should have a triple chin. Why should we all have the same chin? Well, in China, there are a few people with the same name, but that's different altogether. And that's not racism. Therefore, Faraz, you point at me. Because remember, we're all bigots at some point, in some way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Can we quickly, last one. Sorry, Faraz, I really have to take a Zoom call. Otherwise, this is great conversation.
You're fine. Yeah.
This one comes from Prithvi. It's for Faraz. He says, "Excellent story, Faraz. Do you plan to upload any of your films on YouTube by any chance?"
Yeah, so Sisak is on YouTube, I mean, I didn't release it on an OTT because I realized that, after winning so many awards, I just wanted it to be available for free. Anyone across the world to be able to watch it. You don't even need a 99 rupees subscription to watch my, film Sisak on YouTube. It's actually available.
Hey, bro, you sold your car.
I sold my car.
Sir, not sir. Faraz, you sold your car. No, it's important. You get this right.
Yeah. So, But I made it available on YouTube for free because I understand a lot of people they cannot access, these OTT platforms as well. So
there should be a pay for the car policy attached to the YouTube. If you log on, or if you download it, immediately a certain amount goes to the amount that is needed to buy back the car. I think that's a fair deal. Let me work on this algorithm.
It's a brilliant idea. Copyright it.
Sorry, I have to wrap it up because of commercial diktats. But this has been a wonderful conversation. Please come back and just riff with us on our cock and bull because I'm sure your views and all will be really interesting. We'd love to hear your thoughts because we've got lots of interesting stories to get into and argue about and have fights with. And I think Silvery, can we invite him for cock and bull if he's kind enough to come on? Not he, they are kind enough to come on.
I'll get in touch with them. Yeah.
Faraz, please look into it when we invite you. If you're free.
Absolutely. Love that. Thank you.
As we say at Parsi weddings, cheers and tables. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun is joined by podcasters Yogi Kabir and Sarthak Mishra, along with Arjun Koladi from Spotify, to talk about the shifts brought by the growth of podcasting and what it means for the culture of tomorrow. On a show about crypto, Rohan is joined by Gaurav Garg, head of research and crypto expert at Capital Vaya. They discuss decentralized autonomous organizations. On Tere Mere Raste, Keshav introduces us to the real Wasipur and is a dark shadow of coal, mining and the mafia. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam talks about the education loan industry in India with Ankit Mehra, founder and CEO of Gyan Dhan. On The Habit Coach, Ashton is joined by Gaurav Bhagat to share various tiny habits for professionals. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any other show for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Inter. We appreciate the support.
From uncensored and unfiltered chats with the who's who of the entertainment industry, I, Siddharth Kanan, bring you a very hardcore chat show called Candid Kanan. Tune in every Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.